I'm Falen Taylor, and welcome to MBANow. There's a lot happening in the housing market, and here to discuss is Joel Kahn, MBA's Vice President and Deputy Chief Economist. Joel, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So like I mentioned, there's a lot happening in the housing market, and the Federal Reserve just cut interest rates for the first time in 4 years. Can you tell us how many more rate cuts will there be this year, and if that will impact mortgage rates?
Yeah, so as you know, the first rate cut was a big one. It was a 50 basis point rate cut. We don't expect something of that size going forward, maybe 25 basis point rate cuts between now and the end of the year. In terms of how that's going to impact mortgage rates typically move in anticipation of what the Fed might do. So we had already seen mortgage rates start to come down in advance of this announcement, in advance of the last meeting. So right now, our survey is showing that mortgage rates are below 6.2%. We expect that to come back down closer to the 6% mark, maybe even dip below that between now and the end of next year.
So in discussing our weekly applications data and mortgage rates, what current trends are you seeing?
So we've seen a really strong refi response thus far. So we've seen rates come down for at least a month or two now. A lot of what we're seeing on the refi side is a bigger pickup than we saw in the earlier months. So right now we're running at levels about double where we were last year. On the purchase side, we've seen several weeks now of week-over-week increases in purchase applications, both of which are really good pieces of news for the mortgage industry.
So it sounds like it's been an active summer, picking up going into the fall. So can you tell us what total purchase originations are looking like for 2024?
Yeah, so for 2024, again, it looks like we're shaping up to see a really strong fourth quarter. For the entire year, we're looking to total about $1.8 trillion in total originations. About $1.3 trillion of that's going to be purchase, and about $500 billion of that's going to be refi.
Oh, that sounds like really good news and a very welcome news, because I know the previous couple of years have been tough for the industry. And to close out, MBA's annual convention is coming up October 27th through the 30th in Denver. And I know you, Mike Fratantoni, and Marina Walsh will kick off the conference with our 2025 forecast. Can you give us a sneak peek of what we should see and what our members should expect in the upcoming year?
So we'll cover what we see in the macroeconomy, where else we think is worth watching in terms of what the Fed might do or what the Fed might respond to, how that impacts mortgage rates, how that impacts housing, and ultimately originations. And of course, we'll also have a deep dive into industry benchmarking and profitability data.
Oh, that's great news, and I'm sure our members, of course, will appreciate all the good information that our MBA research team puts out. And Joel, thanks again for joining us today.
Thanks for having me here.
And for everyone who hasn't registered for annual convention, if you want to register, go to mba.org/annual.